Full model. Circle teaches of Saraj. Whatever I say or write is on the basis of my own experience and anubhava. It's interesting that he said on my own experience and anubhava. That's a very interesting thing. So please underline that. Irrespective of what Shankara, Ramanuja, or others might have said about their own, everyone in this world wants peace. That means that the realization is not his object. But in that case, he will get only peace and not realization. But if realization is the object, peace will automatically come in its wake. What we should not only be after knowing what realization is, but also try to attain it as well. So these two things. What is the goal? That is what you get. So you need to be very clear about what is the goal that you fix in the spiritual journey. Okay? So realization is the goal, not peace. Peace will come automatically. Not only we should know about realization, but we should try to attain it. Many people are happy to just know about realization, not about attaining it. Generally, people think that it is very difficult, nay, quite impossible to attain liberation in this very life. This, however, is a mistaken idea. The moment we start with the idea that this goal is very difficult to reach, we have already put in obstacles in our path of reaching the goal. In other words, we are actually keeping the goal and then putting another thought, another sankalpa, which is going to create difficulties in the path. We should not do these things which can actually act as contrary to our reaching the goal. We should have faith and confidence that we will be able to reach the goal within this life, part of this life. Okay, not even full life, part of this life. Okay. Who knows, perhaps this very life of ours might be the last one, taking us towards liberation. Our master's declaration is that a sadhak can teach such a state, reach such a state not only in one and same birth, but within even a short period. If he is a diligent worker and has got the real guide. Now, this has he proved also, but the proof is impossible to be given in words. Our experience alone can show it. So, Master says, see, of the two things that we require, we need to be diligent worker and we need to have a capable guide. We have got a capable guide. The only other aspect is that we need to be diligent workers. And that's what we need to actually work towards. Does it make sense? A capable guide you have got now, so you don't need to worry about that. The only other thing that you need to look at is are we diligent in terms of our eagerness to reach the goal? The popular belief that God can only be sought for only in the midst of the forest, as if he is a forest dweller, is vain and absurd. I believe that it is better he be sought for in the midst of our own heart. But for that purpose, the spirit of the Spartans is necessary. You know what is the spirit of the Spartans? So that will be the homework then. Study and come back tomorrow.
There is one movie called Spartan.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
Yes.
Then you have not caught the spirit then.
Yeah, they were a group of small team where they were very strong to attack the major group.
All those things are correct. That's the story. But what is the spirit?
They were determined. They know that they can achieve.
Correct. But that is general. And that is paper, copy paste from the Google. You cannot copy paste from the Google the spirit.
No, I have written that.
Okay. You have written, we'll to go with that. But where is the spirit in that? What is the spirit of Spartans?
It says it's about their loyalty, resilience, discipline, and courage towards the goal.
We can't hear because you keep your volume so low. Go ahead. It's about loyalty.
It's about their loyalty, resilience, discipline, and courage towards achieving the goal, like unwavering commitment.
All those things are correct. But there is some other point that I'm looking for. All these things are correct. But as the brother said, it's only a small group of people, right? So if there is a small group of people, how do they work?
Collaborative.
That's a very general word. That's a IT word. Collaborative, cooperative, all these things are IT vocabulary. Spartans did not have that vocabulary. They had something else. ಆಯ್ತು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಸೆಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಟ್ ಸೇ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್
Self-sacrifice.
that's also one aspect of it there's something else anyway so you people are in IT only search it and see what is it that you get what is the spirit of the Spartans as long as people don't take any other spirit outside they'll be able to catch the spirit of the Spartans ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹುಡುಕಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಗಣೇಶ ಭರತ್ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಕತೆ ಇದು ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಆಯ್ತು ಇದನ್ನ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬನ್ರಿ ನಾಳೆವರೆಗೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರಿನಾ there is not the least justification for anyone to flee away from home in utter disregard of his worldly duties and wander about without any definite aim or purpose as a matter of fact even in that state of vairagya one is seldom free from feelings of worldliness. The most important feature of the system sadhana is that it goes on in conjunction with the normal worldly living of the common man, with due regard to the duties and responsibilities of life, so that both the facets of life, the worldly and the divine, may develop equally bright. We do not mean merely to preach or propagate these ideas, but also to bring them into practice and apply them in real daily life. One of the latest things that we are learning is when Lalaji says the uh, ups and downs in our life is our penances. I think that's something that is gradually now unfolding in its, what do you say, enormity. How, if you handle the ups and downs in life correctly, that itself can actually be a very good accelerator for your spiritual journey. Now, normally, we don't look at this aspect as an accelerator of the spiritual journey. We only think that we have to tolerate it. Of course, accept it. Accepting and tolerating is one aspect to it. But then, how to handle it correctly? When you handle it correctly, then that can actually become a force accelerator in terms of your spiritual journey. Ups and downs, everyone has to undergo. And if we make our mind prepared for the ups and downs, that anyway you have to undergo, why not be prepared for it and then be ready to handle it this way? I think that will be a very, very big eye opener and that saves a lot of time. Okay, just keep this point in mind. That implication of that, very few people actually realize that the implication of that particular sentence that Lalaji writes, where he says the troubles and miseries of the Grihastha life are penances and sacrifices for spiritual attainments. That's a very, very important sentence. The troubles and miseries of Grihastha life. In fact, once the discussion is about Babuji's wife. Then Lalaji says Babuji's wife had more role in making him what he became than Lalaji himself. So you should be thankful to your wife. That is what Lalaji says. So without knowing Unknowingly, she contributed a lot towards Babuji's growth spiritually. For that reason, Lalaji actually gives liberation to her, although she never meditated in her life. And she was always scolding Babuji for closing eyes and sitting for meditation. She always used to say, "Why, what are you doing? Always closing your eyes and sitting. Do something useful." This is exactly what people say nowadays also. So that sentence is there actually in the 44 Whispers, where Lalaji says, "Your wife had more role to make you what you are now than myself." So don't underestimate the role of your wife. Then when we say this, no, if one can actually make us like this, if we have three, four, then we will actually be made better at a faster rate. This is what people will say. Bharat already had that idea. If one can actually accelerate growth, why not have three or four accelerators? That's going to be troublesome. But keep this in mind. It's not only about accepting what comes to us, tolerating what comes to us, but also utilizing what comes to us for the uh, increase in the pace of our spiritual journey. Okay. In that way, when we say that everybody has their share of miseries and troubles in life, do you feel actually dejected about it, or do you feel uplifted about it? Once you know that everyone has their fair share of uh, miseries and troubles, what will you feel if you know that all these miseries and troubles are there as force accelerators for your spiritual journey? Will you feel happy or dejected?
Happy.
You should feel happy because anyway it is part and parcel. Whether you like it or not, it is going to come. Right? You have no choice. It is going to come. If it's going to come, let us be prepared and take it in the positive spirit so that we can utilize it for our journey. Gopal Krishna, you want to ask something? You said you are not sure. But you are the one who should be sure because your life has actually taught you a lesson already in the last 2 years. So, of all the people here, one person who should be sure is you only. But you are nodding your head like this. Until unless this nodding means yes.
I haven't, the heart didn't tell any answer about it specifically.
But the experience shows
But I
the
think
very
it's
fact that your life has taken a turn in a different direction post the difficulties that you went through itself shows that there are very positive things in terms of your spiritual journey. Right? So I'm also giving you some clues that if in case you are searching for bride and there are some difficulties there, not to worry about it. They are all coming for your own blessing. Bharat, keep that in mind. We know that some of you people are in doing that particular thing as of now, at that stage of your life. So we always have to correlate our stage of life that we are passing through with what we are talking. Then it becomes easy. So if somebody is actually searching for a job, then that is the phase of life that they are passing through. Then they have to look at that as an opportunity for their growth. So if somebody is passing through a health issue, then that is the stage that they are passing through, and that should be looked at as an opportunity for growth. So every trouble and misery that we pass through is an opportunity for us to increase the pace of the growth, provided it is taken in the right perspective. Okay? Anyway, the mission aims at the propagation of the ideology set forth by the great master through this newly introduced system of Sahaj Marg and to awaken the sleeping mass to divine consciousness so as to set them right on the path of progress. So this is what we are all trying to do. This is what you are trying to do. When you're trying to become a preceptor or to serve as preceptor, so what you are trying to do is actually to awaken the sleeping masses to the divine consciousness. That is what you will be doing. For this purpose, it is but essential that the old mechanical methods involving forced austerities and penances, most ill-fitted to the environments of present-day life, must necessarily be set aside and replaced by simple and natural means. As far as the attainment of liberation or complete realization or freedom is concerned, almost all the great sages of the past and the present agree on the point that Raja Yoga alone is the path that ensures success up to the final limit of human approach, and everyone destined to complete freedom, that is realization, must sooner or later come up to it. So no matter which other path the people might be in, they could be in the path of knowledge, path of gnana, the path of bhakti, or path of karma. Ultimately, if they want to reach the highest reality, they have all to come to Raja Yoga only. Sahaj Marg runs closely along the lines of Raja Yoga, but of course, with certain amendments and modifications to purge our superfluity from that system. So now he's telling the difference between Sahaj Marg and Raj Yoga. What is the modification? Under Sahaj Marg, the master support being a very special feature of the sadhana, it becomes incumbent upon the Abhyasi to seek a worthy guide to lead him on, helping him by his power transmitted through the yogic process of pranahuti. So first one is the importance of the master. Of course, every system says master is important, but in this system it's even more important because it's only through the master that we get the pranahuti. Second feature is the effect of the pranahuti. The master, by the application of his inner power, awakens and accelerates the dormant forces in the abhyasi to action and directs the flow of the divine current towards his heart through the process of pranahuti. So this is the role of the master. The master, by the application of his inner powers, awakens and accelerates the dormant forces in the abhyasi to action and directs the flow of the divine current towards his heart through the process of pranahuti. As a result, the abhyasi begins to advance spiritually, experiencing more and more of bliss. Now, again, people look at bliss as something that they imagine in their mind. In other words, the definition of bliss is different to each one. Each one is interpreted in their own way. Okay, so just be aware of that. This is one of the catches that you will have. Many abhyasis might come to you and say that I'm not experiencing bliss at all. I'm taking sittings regularly. I'm experiencing less of bliss. So just be aware of that. So then you need to then ask them what is their definition of bliss? In what perspective are they looking at bliss? And then explain about that. Then it will become easy. Okay? Remember that. The Abhyasi has only to prepare himself to receive it, or in other words, to make himself capable and deserving of it. So the Abhyasi's role is to make themselves capable and deserving of receiving the work done by the master. In this way, all that which previously required persistent labor and hardships can now be achieved very easily in a much shorter time with the least labor. But it is all practical and cannot in any way be put to words. Only practical experience can reveal its merits. Many a man must have had a taste of the condition of peace. In fact, the actual state of real peace is beyond comprehension. It admits no contradiction in it. It is literally neither peace nor restlessness, neither union nor separation, nor bliss or any otherwise. It is, in fact, after all, that for which we have developed pain. Now, can you say what kind of peace that Babaji is talking about? At the end of every mantra in Vedas, we have this Shanti mantra Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Why is that? Ultimately, when you reach reality, this is what you will be Shanti. You will be peaceful. And of course, there are many different stages of peace. Okay, you remember the PCMB? Remember the PCMB? What is the PCMB?
Perfect perfect calmness, balance, moderation.
Correct. So now that P can also be taken as peace. Perfect peace, perfect calmness, perfect balance, perfect moderation. So in the same word, you can remember all the four. Okay. That is what he is talking about. That peace that he is talking about here is neither peace nor restlessness, nor union nor separation, nor bliss or anything else. It is beyond all these things. When do we get this? When we reach the center. It is after all that for which we had developed pain. May you all have a taste of that pain. It is not, however, difficult to cultivate that pain. So, in order to develop peace, that kind of a peace, he is saying you have to develop pain. How many people are ready to develop pain for the sake of peace? If you give one injection only, you don't tolerate. Forget about giving injection. If you bring the needle near you, that's it. You will run away. That being the case, how many people are ready to tolerate the pain? And now you tell me, when is it that the pain and the restlessness peaks in our journey? At what point the pain and restlessness peaks in our journey?
When we want that by very
When we want?
that very
Correct.
much.
No, that's the general answer. My question is what point? In the points 1 to 13, which point is that you actually feel the maximum extent of pain and restlessness? So, second homework for the day. Which point we feel the pain and restlessness at the maximum level in our journey?
11.
Correct. Why is that? Why does by the time we reach the 11th point, we should logically think that the pain and everything should have come down and peace should be established in our system. At the 10th and 11th point in between, we have the Sahasrara Kamal. So we should be very happy also. But actually, at 11th point, the pain and the restlessness increases tremendously. See the contrast. You have just crossed the Sahasrara Kamal, which is Satchidananda. So rather than being Ananda, there is something else now. From a second perspective, you have actually journeyed up to the 10th and you have now reached the 11th point. By the logic of getting more and more bliss, by this time the pain and restlessness should have come down because you have crossed up to the 11th point. Rather than coming down, it increases. And what is the trigger for that increase?
They have gotten a taste of the actual reality
Okay,
and they want it more and more. But it's not in their control anymore. Their journey is handed over to master and he is the one
correct,
who has to go.
correct.
The only
And
thing
there is
that they
one
can
other
do is
point.
sit in
So,
pain.
2 points you mentioned. Good. There is one other point. 2 points you mentioned correctly. They have had a taste of it. They have no control over it because now it's down to the master. Although there is some amount of effort still involved. Between the 10th circle, 10th point and the 13th point, there are still 7 rings of ego, 7 circles of ego. So there's still the self there. There's still some amount of self effort there. But master's role is now more important. That's correct. Any other point that you can think of? Good. Okay, I'll spare you homework. So next time ಭರತ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ತಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಸ್ಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಸ್ವೀಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಭರತ್? ಓ, ಧಾರವಾಡ ಪೇಡ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಪೇಡ.
ಹಾಂ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಧಾರವಾಡ ಪೇಡ ತುಂಬ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಉತ್ತರ.
ಬಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವೆಂಟ್ ರೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದಿಲ್ಲ. ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ.
ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವೆಂಟ್ ರೆಡ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಂಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್. ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನೇ ಉತ್ತರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ ನಿನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ? ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ತರ್ಬೋದು, ನೀನು ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ. ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ? ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸರಿ. ಸೊ ಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೋ ನಿಯರ್ ಯೆಟ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್. That is the feeling that you get at the 11th point. You are very close to the reality. You can see the reality, you can taste the reality, you can feel the reality. But still, there is that separation. So the heart is very, very desperate. And that increases the pain and the restlessness. Can you see? ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಯಾರನ್ನೋ ಲವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್, ಸೊ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ. Because you see that the goal is very near, but you are still far away from the goal. It's a very practical situation that people can pass through. So just remember, 11th point, so near yet so far. This is the feeling. And that increases the pain and restlessness in the heart tremendously. ಸರಿ. ಸೊ 3 ಆಯಿತು, 3 ಕಾರಣ. So although it appears contradictory, if you look at it from this perspective, it appears logical, correct? So we've got a taste of it, master has a more bigger role, but thirdly, we have the taste and the vision, the reality is right in front. We can see it, we can feel it. We have got a taste of it, but yet we have not reached it. So that desperation to reach increases. It's like when you are coming home, you're only 2-3 kilometers away from home. Now you've had enough of all the travels that you have done, enough of all the travels. So what you do, as you come nearer to your house, you actually accelerate the pace of the vehicle. So you want to just reach home and just put yourself on the sofa and just relax. That is the kind of desperation that you feel. Can you see? That is what happens when we reach the 11th point. So you have gone to the hotel. This is for the people who go to the hotel. You've gone to your favorite hotel. You have sat there. You have ordered the food. But for some reason, the food is not coming onto the table as quickly as you would expect. Now just look at the condition of the heart at that time. You have gone to the favorite hotel. You have you ordered the favorite dish. Everything is done. So near yet so far. But the food is not appearing on the table. What will you do? Obviously, you will not change the dish. Obviously, you will not change the hotel. But you are desperate now. What will you do? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ?
We keep seeing him. We came up.
ಬಂದು ವಿ ಕೀಪ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ
ಗಲಾಟೆ.
ಅದು ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್. ಒಂದೇ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಡೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. We keep looking at the place where the dish is supposed to come from. Secondly, if that doesn't work, we will call the waiter again. Have you told inside or not? What are you doing? You check with the waiter. ಅದು ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you look at your time and then mark the time. ಒಂದು 20 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಯಿತು, ಇನ್ನೂ ತಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನೀವು. You go and start calling the waiter and ask the manager to be brought to the table. Then you will point out your watch and say, it's been 20 minutes since I ordered, nothing has come here. I wanted to make sure that everything comes at once. Can you see? We do all these things. That is the condition that you pass through at the 11th point. The pain and the desperation, restlessness. Here is pain and restlessness for the plate of the food. There is the pain and restlessness for the realization or the reality. See, when we correlate all these day-to-day happenings, no, it will become very easy for us to know what is happening in spirituality also. Spirituality is no different from what we normally go through, except that it's happening at a more subtler plane. That's all. Does make sense? So now next time I will practice 11th point condition by going to my favorite hotel. This is what you will say. You've given a good idea. Let me experience my 11th point by going to a hotel. And it will not be in any hotel. It will only be in the favorite hotel because the reality is your favorite now. You got a taste of it. It will be in the favorite hotel, in the favorite dish. Only then you will be able to feel that. Remember that. Okay. Sorry. May you all have a taste of that pain. And now you know where to get that pain. It is not, however, difficult to cultivate. Only a firm will and an undivided attention towards it all that is required for the purpose. Then that which you seek will be found quite close to you, rather with you. Nay, you might yourself be that which you seek. For that there must be a burning in the heart which might burn down the weeds and bushes on the path. There should be a burning in the heart. So that whatever is the bushes and the weeds and bushes are nothing but the samskaras that are on the path. I do not mean to advocate in any way the orthodox idea of Gurdam. In our samstha, we take it as a sense of common brotherhood in the spirit of service and sacrifice, helping each other as needed and required. The Sashmark system of spiritual practice and the training is open to everyone without any distinction of caste, creed, sex, or color. Seekers of truth may come to experience and practice and derive the greatest benefit from the grace of my Master, who has turned a new leaf in the tradition of Indian philosophy. May the benign supervision of the Supreme, Master Supreme, guide all us to the realization of the ultimate goal and the fulfillment of human purpose. Okay, good. Our Bharat is very happy. Two things I've told him which made him happy. In fact, three things. One is about the importance of wife. Second thing I've told him about the importance of the hotel and the dish. Third thing I've reminded him of the favorite sweet from Dharwad. So all the three things has now made him very happy. Now you can see the smile in his face. Gopal Krishna is also happy. Gopal Krishna says, "Hey, don't take me out of the context. I am also in the